What's up, everybody? Adam Corson here, and I just stepped out of my 4-person, almost heaven barrel sauna that I purchased from Costco. So I've had this sauna for close to a month now, and I've used it almost every single day since purchasing it, and I thought it'd be cool to share my experiences, the good, the bad, and everything in between over these last 30 days. We'll start from the beginning when I received the package and unboxed it, built it all up. We'll get into the benefits of the last 30 days of usage that I've seen. And then if you stick around to the end, I'll give my thoughts on whether I think this is a valuable investment or if I may have changed things if I could go back in time and redo it. Let's get right into it. A big perk by ordering through Costco was the free delivery, and it was very nicely packaged. It took myself and a buddy about 5 hours start to finish, then the electrician came in and hardwired the rest. I like to think that I'm pretty handy, but after seeing everything the electrician went through to get this heater hooked up, there is no way that I would have been able to do that myself, so I definitely recommend hiring a professional to do your electrical work. Now, our job was pretty straightforward. We had the electrical lines run through the attic, right out the back of our house, so it wasn't super complex, and that still ran us about $1,600. But I have heard scenarios of people paying upwards of $3,000 to get their heaters hooked up and get those proper electrical lines ran. So it may be beneficial when you're doing your initial budgeting to have an electrician come out beforehand so you can get an idea of what that's going to cost and add that onto the top of the total cost of the sauna so you know what your all-in pricing is going to be. I'm honestly super impressed with the overall materials and everything that was given to put the sauna together. The wood is all red cedar. It features stainless steel hinges and fasteners, and there was a good bit of leftover materials, which I definitely appreciated. To be completely honest, I was a bit nervous about buying a barrel sauna because I did a lot of online research, and if you look online, people just do not like or recommend barrel saunas. But I know that people are dramatic, and I was like, how bad can it really be? So I rolled the dice and got one anyway. My first time using the sauna, I was super surprised at how hot it got in here. It took about 45 minutes to warm up, and I don't know if it's because I had never been in a sauna outside of a commercial setting, but I opened that door and I got in here, and that heat just slapped me right in the face, and I was like, whoa, this is the real deal. Now, in the past 30 days, we've topped the temperature out at about 180 degrees, 185 or so, which there are some tricks that I've read, like this is a temperature gauge here. Apparently, if you move this down a little bit, heat rises, so it would take longer for that to hit temperature and trigger the heater to turn off. But honestly, at 180 degrees for 10 minutes, we are soaked in sweat. We're ready to get out of this thing and hop right into the cold plunge, cool off for a little bit, and then get back in here and warm up for our next round. So another really cool thing about this sauna is that it comes with a bucket and ladle, and 40 pounds of rocks come with the heater. So once you get your heater all hooked up, you kind of carefully put those rocks in there and make sure you're not packing them too tight. But then you have the ability to either run this as a nice dry heat or pour some water over the top of those rocks and create that steam. And 180 degrees with all that steam is really amplified, and it feels really hot in here. So when it comes to seating and positioning inside of the sauna, I'm about 5'9". The sauna does have a natural curve to it. It doesn't really affect me too much, as you can see. If you were taller than me and you were kind of like up here, your head may be a little bit further forwards, but I would say anybody about 5'9" or under wouldn't really have a problem with kind of how the normal curve is in the barrel. When we have 4 people in here, we're pretty much just sitting upright. There's only really enough space for 4 to sit in an upright position, but a lot of times it's just my wife and I, sometimes it's even just myself, and when we're running it either together or by myself, we'll just kind of lean back, kick our feet up. This is a real comfortable position. A lot of times we'll just lay flat too. Now, keep in mind, this is the 4-person barrel. They make a bigger one. We aren't able to lay fully flat in this because of the seat restriction, but it's still pretty comfortable when we're laying with our knees bent or with our feet up nice and high. The one thing I do wish that this sauna had was one more of these slats on the benches here. So I understand why they didn't do it, because the benches fit right to the width of the doorway. But when you're laying down, it would have been nice to have one more slat, because it does kind of feel like you're falling off. But this is just me getting picky. I could always add one more slat if I really wanted to. It works perfectly the way it is. Just one of those things where it's like, well, if I could change one thing, that would probably be it. Now, when it comes to the benefits, there's the obvious ones that everyone talks about, like, oh, you have clearer skin, the muscle recovery aspect. But for me, the biggest benefit that I've seen is really the daily reset that I get. So I genuinely look forward to coming in here every single night. And when I get in here, I feel like I'm able to just turn it off and slow down in a very busy world. I feel so relaxed when I get out of the sauna. I feel like I can be so present when I'm in the sauna. I used to have really restless legs at night, and I've even noticed that has kind of gone away since daily sauna usage. And I think that's attributed just to the fact that when I get out of here, I'm so relaxed. On my Garmin, I've noticed my sleep cycles have gotten better, even though we have a newborn. So, that's kind of hit or miss depending on whether we're up at night. But just from a general standpoint of the body reset and the stress reduction, that's where I'm really seeing the greatest benefits from the sauna usage. There's really only 3 things that I would alter in this sauna to make it perfect. The first being one that I touched on earlier, that bench width. So deeper benches would make it a little bit more comfortable, and there are barrel options on the market with deeper benches. They're kind of like extra large barrels or extra wide barrels, but the price does jump up pretty significantly. So for the price in this, I'm happy with how it is. Next thing that I would touch on is the roof. So when it rains, water does seep through. It's not completely airtight inside of the sauna. I do wish that the company would give some sort of roof kit with the barrel standard. They do offer some sort of tarp-like thing that you can purchase, but it's a few $100s, so you're already paying a good bit for the sauna. I do wish that something came with it to waterproof it a little bit more. Almost Heaven does say that it's standard and it's okay that the water drips, but it just doesn't feel right to me. So I will be putting a metal roof on this sauna here shortly. I will make a how-to video because I've looked for resources for myself to try and figure out how to do that, and I really can't find too much out there. Now, the third thing kind of talks to the overall experience of the sauna. So any sauna where the rocks in the heater are taller than the benches, you're always going to have a heat distribution where the highest parts are hotter and the lower parts get cooler. Now, I did a lot of research online, like I mentioned, so I expected my feet to be like freezing cold in this sauna. At 180 degrees, are my feet cooler than my head or the top of the sauna? Absolutely, but it is not as dramatic as people made it seem online. Like, it made it seem like your feet are going to be so cold that you're going to be uncomfortable. There definitely is a distribution of that heat, but for me, the overall experience still outweighs the fact that my feet are a little bit colder than my head. Overall, I'm very happy with the purchase of this sauna. The materials seem to be really high quality. The aesthetic of the barrel is really cool. And I really don't see myself outgrowing this sauna anytime soon or regretting this purchase. From a cost versus value perspective, it definitely makes sense for us too. We were paying close to $200 per month per person, so roughly $400 a month to gain the same access as we have now. And after 10 months of owning this sauna, it'll essentially pay for itself at that price. The other thing for us personally is the accessibility. So having 2 young children, for us to make it to the contrast therapy studio, it was very hard. So even with an unlimited membership, I think we made it 5 times a month, versus now we're able to go every single night because we don't have to worry about setting up childcare. We don't have to worry about really planning super far in advance. Anytime we want to come back here and hop in, it's ready for us and we can get right in. The few downsides that I mentioned definitely do not outweigh the perks of having our own sauna. And I would confidently buy this sauna again without hesitation, given another opportunity to do so. I'm super happy. Our friends, our family, everyone we have over here loves it. And this is something that we're going to use for years and years to come. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found value here. If you are looking to make a purchase of one of these saunas, I hope that this gives you some more insight to make an informed decision. As always, if you have any other questions at all, drop them in the comments below or send me a direct message on Instagram. I'd love to help out any way that I can. Thanks again, and see you next time.